In the last 24 hours, the Xbox showcase took place and it showed off a whole lot of new games coming to our screens later on this year and in the future, with some huge titles coming to Game Pass. Despite there being no Halo at the event, which I'm still a bit salty about, but it is what it is at this point, we did get a long-awaited Gears of War announcement. Now this isn't Gears of War 6 like we all hoped for, or at least thought that it would be. This isn't a spin-off game. This is a prequel set 14 years before Gears of War 1, and oh my gosh, I am so excited for it. This, as far as I'm aware, was not something that anyone was aware of leading up to the Xbox showcase, and it was kept under wraps really well. I didn't hear of any leaks, any rumours or anything regarding this game or of its existence whatsoever, and many thought that it would be Gears of War 6, including myself. But I'm actually not mad about the Coalition's decision to make this game. I thought that on the back of yesterday's announcement that it would be fitting to create a video going through everything that we know so far about Gears of War E-Day, because there is actually quite a lot that's already been released about the game. There was an article that was put out yesterday after the Xbox showcase took place, where basically Xbox and the Coalition shared a heap of new information around the game, why it was created, the insight into the development of the game as well, and the inspiration as to why they decided to make this game as opposed to Gears of War 6. As always, leave your thoughts and opinions down below in the comments. What do you think of Gears of War E-Day? And if you're excited for Gears of War E-Day, make sure to leave a like on today's video. I want to see something. But let's dive into everything we know so far about Gears of War E-Day. When the trailer first hit my screen and I seen the COG logo on the TV set, I was immediately sprung into focus. And how could we forget the inclusion of the Tears of Fear track that was used in all of the commercials in the original games? Love it. The trailer, however, paints a fantastic picture of what it's like as the Locust outbreak started. We never actually got gameplay as such of that point. We only got told through cutscenes early on, and of course through the different lore around the different Gears of War games that was released, especially Gears of War 5 telling us the origins of the Locust and other areas in different games like that. This trailer shows exactly that. It shows Marcus trying to figure out how the hell to fight the Locust, these things that had just risen from the ground and started attacking all of Sarah. However, the storyline of the game, I feel, will be an emotionally harrowing one. We already lost Dom in Gears of War 3, and Dom already lost everything that mattered to him by Gears of War 2. But Gears E-Day includes another loss for Dom, and that's his brother, Carlos. Look, I can imagine we're going to get loads of new characters coming into the game that were in the E-Day section of the story timeline that didn't make it to Gears of War 1 and forward. So it's a really good way, really, to add characters in that we won't see again. But it's also going to be an amazing way to add characters back into the game that were killed off, such as Ty in Gears of War 2. He fought with Dom and also Marcus during that breakout, so having him back is going to be so sick, man. So I'm going to be going through the article in detail, telling us everything that we need to know so far around the game, so if you're interested in that, stick around for it. But for those that want a very quick summary as to what's going on, these are a few points you need to know. So this is not a spin-off, it's a new entry in the mainline Gears of War saga. When I first seen it announced, I thought this might have been like a spin-off ODST Halo style or Halo Reach game where it is in the mainline canon, but it is a sidestep from the mainline story progression, if that makes sense. But it isn't a spin-off, it is a mainline game just set before, so it's a prequel. The Coalition is content with the stories told in Gears of War 4 and 5 and isn't abandoning them, but making this game was an opportunity that felt too good to miss. The team is looking to recreate and improve on the series' classic cover shooting, revisiting the tone of older games with truly next-gen tech. It takes place 14 years before the first game, tackling how an ill-prepared Sarah responds to a surprise Locust invasion. It was very intentional by the team to recast the Locust as not just simply foes, but as living nightmares. The fear of encountering the Locust for the first time is central to the game. Desperation as Marcus fights a drone for the first time, as we've seen in the trailer, not really knowing how to handle it. Hints of the origin of the Lancer chainsaw weapon, which we use and is iconic to Gears, will be a part of the story, so we're going to see how that was made, created, which will be really interesting. The narrative follows the early stages of Marcus and Dom's brotherhood, bonding over the loss of Dom's older brother Carlos, who Marcus was very close with. And finally, over 100 times more environment and character details than that was in Gears of War 5, hardware ray tracing and lighting, reflections and shadows, next generation destruction and gore, and cutting edge animation technology. The story is of course told from the perspective of a much younger Marcus and Dom. Whilst the pair are seasoned veterans of the Pendulum Wars, which was the human conflict taking place before the series began, this is a wholly new threat for the pair to investigate and to navigate. The best Gears games have these super emotional themes around shared burden, belonging, trust and loyalty, and Marcus and Dom have a really interesting relationship going into E-Day. To give some background context leading into the story of E-Day, Marcus and Dom are connected through Dom's older brother Carlos, who died on the battlefield alongside Marcus. The pair were best friends, so Marcus and Dom are in the early stages of forming their friendship over a shared loss and navigating these emotions together. We're telling the origin story of Marcus and Dom and their bond. This is the bond that defines the franchise. They're not only the characters that we know from Gears of War 1 to Gears of War 3, they don't have 10 years of fighting the Locust between them. When the game opens, there's supposed to be peace on Sarah, and they're trying to figure out life without this person that they both loved equally. People are going to see the formation of this brotherhood that was so iconic to Gears of War early on, and man, I'm so here for it. So in this section of the video, we're going to focus more on what the developers are actually saying about this game. So I'm speaking with the creative director and a couple of other members of the team to basically see what their vision is for this game, why they decided to make it, why they made this game and not Gears of War 6, and some of the design choices and decisions throughout that time as well. So these communications are from the creative director Matt Cersei and the brand director Nicole Forsetti. I find that the vibe inside the coalition is ecstatic. The team is absolutely thrilled to be finally sharing E-Day with the world. Over the last few years, the studio has remained purposefully quiet but continuously busy, wrapping up Gears of War 5, shipping its Hive Busters DLC and Gears Tactics, all the while adapting to the COVID pandemic and its changes to how studios are now run. During that time, the shift in rhythm allowed the team some time to reflect, figuring out what they and fans were truly passionate about in order to find the next great Gears story. We realised that a lot of the words that we used to describe the franchise were what our fans used also, phrases like brotherhood, brutality, pathos. Why E-Day? That's the moment it all comes together. It's the heart of the Gears universe. Everything that happens is shaped by that day. The key to the Coalition's vision is that, in another nod to the original game, E-Day won't just be a marvel of gameplay and storytelling, but of technology too. Game development has come a long way since the first Gears of War game, and the Coalition as well, equipped with the Unreal 5 engine, is prepared to take full advantage of this evolution to set the new standards in technical prowess. With the advantages in Unreal 5, the leap in technological capabilities is tremendous. This includes over 100 times more environmental and character details than what was in Gears of War 5, hardware ray-traced lighting, reflections and shadows, next-generation destruction and gore, and cutting-edge animation technology, to name just a few of the countless improvements that will make their way into Gears of War E-Day. The team's ambition here is to once again set a new standard in technical excellence. The team have fully modernised Gears from the ground up, infusing the DNA of Gears with the full capability of modern gaming technologies. Every character, environment and animation in Gears of War E-Day has been completely rebuilt with an Unreal 5 engine, allowing us to portray the Gears universe with unprecedented details of fidelity. The original trailer for the original Gears of War sent out a real statement by using in-game engine footage, and that's exactly what they did in Gears of War E-Day. Everything you saw in that trailer is in fact rendered in real time in-game engine, and it looked absolutely fantastic. When you look at Marcus and Dom in the original games, they're big beefy tanks, exaggerated in their design. As you've seen in this trailer, you can see how these guys have really come to life as human characters. Look, Gears of War's always been exaggerated in the way that it looks, and the amounts of testosterone that's floating around in the air to allow people to have muscles the size of what they do, and it's one of those games. But I kind of like the idea of taking Dom and Marcus in a situation where they don't really know each other, but they have a common ground of Dom's brother dying, and they're both very close to them, and that's where their brotherhood and friendship was formed. And it's more of an emotional step back as well. They're more human. They're not as absolutely ripped as what they were in the first game, leading all the way up to Gears of War 5 and the designs of the characters there. E-Day's allowed the Coalition to be much more realistic with what these characters were like 14 years before they'd had a decade or so fighting the Locust, you know? So I'm very, very excited to see how the story progresses and the emotional side of the story as well. Now, before we do end today's video, let's talk about the future of Gears of War, which is also a section in this article. The Coalition here go on to tell us why they decided to make E-Day and not go ahead and make Gears of War 6 and follow on from 5's story, so it's interesting. Take a listen. Of course, this isn't the end of the ongoing stories in the Gears series. The team is content with the stories that were told in Gears of War 4 and Gears of War 5 and is by no means abandoning them. But the collective passion for such an iconic origin story was simply too great to ignore. The story of E-Day and the origins of Marcus and Dom are so powerful and pivotal events that the Coalition could not wait to tell the story. The Coalition are super proud about Gears of War 4 and Gears of War 5 and the stories that were told there. They're not retreating from that storyline in any way whatsoever, so we will get a Gears of War 6 eventually. But in this current moment, there was an opportunity to write the next step, and this one just felt too good to miss. It's also important to note that E-Day is not a spin-off. It's a completely new entry to the mainline series set earlier in the timeline. The events of the game not only serve as an exciting origin tale of two beloved characters, but it also adds detail and context to this period that will resonate through the story and that we will follow. In E-Day, the Locusts are not foes that our characters are accustomed to fighting. They're mysterious, formidable, and overwhelming. An unforeseen horror that Marcus and Dom and the rest of Sarah must learn to deal with before it's too late. Everything that happens in E-Day will shape the future of Gears of War for the better. And I'm all here for it. I'm so excited. And here we are. Gears of War E-Day will be the next Gears of War title coming to console, PC, whatever that might be. Will it come to PlayStation? Halo had a rumour that it might come to PlayStation. Could E-Day also be coming to PlayStation? I think it probably will, which is, I never thought about it up until now, but it probably will come to PlayStation. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below, because they're trying to make this multi-platform stuff to, yeah, I don't know, be interesting. It's an interesting thought to think about. Will it come to PlayStation, like potentially Halo Combat Evolved Remake 3 will come to PlayStation as well? Interesting. Anyway, I want to say that the release of this may be towards the end of the year, sometime next year. I don't really know. As far as I'm aware, we didn't get a date for the release of this game, and if we did, leave it down below in the comments because I must have missed it completely. But I think we'll get more gameplay at Gamescom, which is only around the corner now, so I'm looking forward to seeing that as well. I'll be covering it here on the channel, so make sure you are sticking around and subscribed for that one. And yeah, very, very excited to see more about this game and to finally play it. But as always, everyone, leave your comments down below what you thought of this game. Are you looking forward to Gears of War E-Day? Would you have preferred a Gears of War 6? Again, let me know down below. But thanks everyone for watching. We'll see you all next time.